Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Pete Holmes wants you to know he's not reading your email. He caught up with Wired and said, you can make a living, you can have a life, and leave 55,000 emails unread with a big F off. Because this was Wired, they asked Pete Holmes about technology, which is kind of interesting. I like when you ask comedians about different things. What phone do you have, Pete Holmes? He said, it's the iPhone Air from 2025. I love this phone so much. The first thing I love about it is it didn't do well. No one bought it. And then when I saw it, I couldn't wait to get it. People often think it's an Android. People don't know what it is. I love all of this. I love having a phone nobody else has. I mean, everybody has the same ugly spider eyeball phone. Everybody's just getting the max, the 2,800-hour battery life. Get all that stuff out of here. The iPhone Air is the first iPhone I've seen in a long time that looks like Steve Jobs had to say. Everything else is just Apple playing catch-up with Android, Apple mimicking something they saw Google do or whoever, giving us a bunch of stuff we don't need. And the flex is that it has a short battery life. You see my phone and go, Pete must not be on his phone very much. There was a time when Apple was trying to make the 11-inch laptop. They were trying to make the future. They were trying to have things look clean. And now it's just like, here's everything. You look like you work at Silicon Valley. You look like you're a programmer. I want to look like I'm in Blade Runner. They asked Pete Holmes his average screen time. The answer, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Pete said, it's dream of dreams to finally have someone ask me in a public way, what's your screen time? I've been living for this day. So today it's 2 o'clock and I'm at 27 minutes. And every day I aim for sub 1 hour. And I'm so aware of what a flex this is. I just got my screen report. 1 hour and 15 minutes was my average for the week. And here's the punchline. That's still too much. I still feel stressed out by my phone. I can't even imagine what mine is. My phone's upstairs. I'll tell you some other episode. I'm still looking at it more than I would like to, and it still gets its claws in me at some points. It goes higher if I watch a movie or something, if I've been flying. I keep the widget for screen time on my home screen, which is a good hack. If you're trying to lose weight, you have to weigh yourself, and if you're trying to get your screen time down, put the widget on your phone. Pete says there's no social media on my phone. It's not natural to be in line at the airport security and finding out everything from every corner of the globe and having your own personal life just constantly. I found that if you step away, people get the message pretty quickly. I have to tell people a lot of my texts start with, sorry, I'm not a big text person. And my phone is in black and white. It's a nice little hack. Your phone is like a slot machine, so the more you can limit its color and sound, the less it can lull you in. A lot more there. We'll save that for summer weekends as we go. There's a lot more there. I am scrolling down as I babble to you here. Jeff Arcuri has a pretty good special on Netflix. The LA Times profiled him. They said, let's talk about the weird level of fame you've attained right now. You're the guy everyone sees on their Instagram reels. At the same time, they're like, who's that guy? Jeff said, 100%. My Uber driver on a 45-minute ride here. We talked the entire time. As soon as I get in, he goes, you do comedy? I go, yeah, man. We start talking. He's asking me questions. We're talking about comedy. We pull up and he goes, what's your name, by the way? He was quoting videos of mine the whole time. Then I wrote it down for him. I was like, my special comes out July 7th. Give it a watch. And he's like, all right, man. I only have YouTube. I was like, all right, you don't have to say that. You don't have to lie. In the airport, I get a lot of people squinting, and then I'll see them look at their phone and try to figure out, how do I know this person? The LA Times asked Jeff Arcuri, have your crowd work clips on social media changed your career? He said, immensely. I think it was the only way for me to put out as much content as I could and still perform live. I get to show my improvisation and yet still work on the written part personally, and I get to repeat that joke for a year touring as opposed to a crowd work moment. It happens, it's done. There's a lot of bad crowd work out there, just like there's bad anything else, fledgling or whatever, rookie stuff. I think it's died down, if I'm being honest. I think the main reason for the hate is because a lot of people started to try it that weren't doing it. And so there's a lot of people that tried it because they saw the success. I was fortunate enough that I was already doing it, and so I just applied it to social media. No point in my career did I say, I'm going to start talking to the audience. I've always done that. It makes me cringe when I see comedians complaining about crowd work. Why are you worried about what you're not doing? Do your thing and then succeed. Don't try and latch on to whatever the success is and then complain it didn't work for you. Changing gears, I got a little more serious here. After Netflix called, what was the first thing you did to prepare for the special? Jeff said, so that's kind of hard because last year was a big year health-wise for my wife. She was diagnosed with cancer and everything, so it's a lot of adjusting on the fly. We found out about the special within a day or so of finding out that she was misdiagnosed and her cancer was actually in a better place than we thought it was. So it was a great week for us. So it was very surreal. But then to switch to prepping for a special, because I'm not going to record a special talking about my life prior to that, it felt weird. Being able to talk about dating, talking about sex life, things like that when I just got married. So a lot of special, I would say at least half, was written within a year of the taping on the road that year, going through what I was going through with my wife. There's jokes she's made throughout the year that I would do on stage even after clearing it and saying, my wife said this and she has cancer and here's the joke. And I still get people like, oh, come on, don't make that joke, dude. I'm like, I didn't. She did. I'm just telling you what happened. We want to let people know that we make dark jokes about her life, about her cancer, about her situation. And not every joke, just like every couple, not every joke is meant to be for everybody. Seth Meyers was on the Hey Jonas podcast. They were curious about his correspondence with former SNL castmates and asked if there are any group chats and who's in them and do any of them have a funny name. Seth Meyers said the group chat with the funniest name, okay, this is Seth Meyers, who has the 12:30 show on NBC. I don't think it's that good. The president of the United States and I are aligned that we need to make 12:30 great again. But Seth Meyers is doing his thing every night at 12:30, getting slightly more viewers than I have listeners. And Seth Meyers said the funniest group chat name belongs to one with Amy Poehler and producer Michael Shoemaker. And the very funny group chat name is, Seth Meyers said, we're the tripod, the three of us. That's sort of a lovingly supportive one. Oh my God, that's funny. The tripod. Oh, whew. Are you kidding me, man? That's the funny one? Meyers said the other group chats don't have funny names. Hey, Seth, neither does that one. But they have some funny people. You know, Andy Samberg, Fred Armisen, and Bill Hader. Those guys are on one. I will say the funniest texter independent of a group is Fred Armisen. Just for Laughs Sydney 2026 has been announced. Now, I saw some reports that said this is the first JFL Sydney, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that existed. And this article I'm cribbing off says it's the 14th edition. Now, I'm pretty sure it existed because when I was working with the Just for Laughs folks at Sirius a decade ago, I was trying to figure out a way to scam my way to doing business travel to Sydney. Never pulled it off, so that's why I know, like, this existed before. So for its 14th year, they've already announced Gabriel Iglesias, Taskmaster star Greg Davies, comedy legend Bill Bailey, and Mock the Week icon Dara O'Brien. Just for Laughs Sydney, November 9th through the 22nd. The Guardian wrote about the Underground Monk Show, Edinburgh's fringe cult comedy of the highest order. They tell us deep within the cavernous Banshee Labyrinth in Edinburgh's Cowgate, robed monks stand ominously on stage after midnight. It's 2024, halfway through the fringe, and nobody knows what's happening. But in this dungeon-like sweatbox, we're about to experience a work in progress that's equal parts joyous and utterly unhinged. 2 years later, Underground Monk Show is back. So what's this about? Co-creator John Norris said, it's so funny because that's what we constantly ask ourselves. If you were to attempt to explain it, you might say the show follows whimsical monks who over the course of an hour experience a spiritual awakening, spurred on by a magical body of water that turns their visions into reality. There are flashbacks, dream sequences, and a portal into another world. One night, the monks latched on to objects from members of the audience. A poor man in the front row lost his cap for the entire show when, accompanied by Gregorian chants and choral masses, the monks deemed it sacred to their cause. See, I love this stuff. I know some of you were like, what? Just tell us about Bill Burr, dude. I love this weird stuff. Co-director Corey Podol said it had nothing to do with monks or nuns, but we were just dressed that way. Then from there, John just kept being like, what if we were all dressed like monks? He said it enough times that I guess he manifested it. Norris hopes audiences experience a nice little escape for an hour. The Underground Monk Show is at Assembly George Square Gardens in Edinburgh, August 5th through the 30th, then in London at the Soho Theatre, January 11th through the 23rd. How we doing on time? Little short. Good, because I had kicked a story the other day about Michael Che. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune went to see Michael Che and said Che proves he's one of comedy's sharpest bad boys. Che jumped from one politically incorrect subject to the next using language that would never be allowed on NBC. At one point, he mused about the chances that Abraham Lincoln was gay. The joke told much better by Michael Che was he was shot in a theater. That's a pretty gay way to die. We are told Che's material is just as edgy as anything Dave Chappelle or Matt Rife has ever uttered. Is Matt Rife edgy? I don't think Matt Rife's edgy. Is he? I don't know. Is it Sire, a backwards baseball cap, sweatshirt, and sweatpants? Wait, that's almost what I'm wearing. No cap today. I showered. I had a doctor appointment. Well, not on Sunday. I didn't record this on Sunday morning. John, you didn't go to the doctor on Sunday? No, I went to the doctor on Thursday when I recorded this. So I showered. So I'm not wearing a baseball cap. But it would not be absurd if I were recording the show wearing a baseball cap, a sweatshirt, and sweatpants. Maybe in July it would be, but in November, probably what I'm wearing. I digress. Michael Che wore a backwards baseball cap, sweatshirt, and sweatpants. He even indulged spectators who felt it necessary to comment. Che said, "This is why I don't do crowd work." Now, in the past, during these summer shows, Che would hint that he might not return to SNL. He did not comment on SNL at all this time, so maybe he'll be back. That is your comedy news on a summer Sunday. See you tomorrow.